maintenance of public safety and stability. The mother of the 15-year-old boy who was reportedly gang raped or gang sodomized by National Security Agency senior agent Peter Bonjala and two others has accused the Liberian government of supporting same-sex activities in the country. Speaking with reporters Tuesday, a day after the leaked information that Agent Peter Bonjala has been set free from the Moravia Central Prison, the 15-year-old sodomized survivor mother described the government of being wicked and heartless. She further accused the government through the Ministry of Justice of failing to give attention to her son's sodomy case and have chosen to set free the former NSA agent. According to her, despite her son going through his surgery, he is still battling serious complications since the incident. The mother of the 15-year-old boy also called on international partners and civil society advocates to intervene. She is challenging the Ministry of Justice to give her son justice by arresting and prosecuting everyone involved into sodomizing her son. Over five public schools in Bowman County are said to be completely out of teachers, prompting a single person at each of the schools to teach all classes and subjects. Among schools short of classroom teachers in Western County, where two for armed robbery and impersonation at Badamsville Junction. According to reports, both suspects impersonated as personnel of the armed forces of Liberia by wearing military uniform during robbery operation. Police authorities said items found in possession of the suspected robbers include a short toy pistol believed to have been used by them in the act of criminal conspiracy to harass and intimidate residents. And Montserrado County District 16 Representative Dixon Siebel has raised concerns of persistent non-compliance posture by appointed government officials. Representative Dixon Siebel noted that appointed officials are found in the habit of ignoring legislative summons, something he said weakens accountability, transparency, and public trust. The Montserrado County District 16 lawmaker raised the concern after the Minister of Mines and Energy, Martino K. Tingbe, failed to appear before members of the House of Representatives on Tuesday. Minister Tingbe summons was intended to have him answer questions about mineral development agreement between the government of Liberia and BHP Billiton and its successor Kavala Resources. Following Representative Dixon Siebel's stance, plenary of the House of Representatives unanimously agreed to summon the Mines and Energy Minister to appear before the August body on Thursday to explain why he should not be held in contempt.
Sam Andrews with the news bulletin. The news bulletin is a regular feature on King's News Broom. A reminder you're listening to King's News Broom, 45 minutes news about Liberia, Africa, and our one world. Stories we following tonight: citizens in Bannersville crippled in fear after sighting unidentified mafia-dressed individuals, plead for national security investigation and appropriate actions. Government of Liberia secretly released from Monrovia Central Prison Peter Bonjala, senior agent of National Security Agency and alleged lead perpetrator of gang rape, gang sodomy of a 15-year-old boy as mother of victim, accuses government of supporting same-sex activities. More than 300 school-going children in Broom County suffered lack of adequate learning materials and instructors, with about 5 public schools in the area completely out of teachers. Away from home, more than 100 U.S. soldiers have arrived in Nigeria to train the West African nation's army and help them with intelligence in their battle against growing security threats from Islamist militants and other armed groups. Aviation workers in Kenya have agreed to resume work during the second day of their strike, has led to cancellations, delays, and diversion, which have particularly hit the main airport in the capital, Nairobi. We'll take a break to be back with voices of the newsmakers. Welcome back and thanks for being there. The mother of the 15-year-old boy who was reportedly gang sodomied by National Security Agency senior agent Peter Bonjala and 2 others has accused the government of Liberia of supporting same-sex activities in the country. Speaking with reporters Tuesday, they have told leaked information that Agent Bonjala has been set free from the Monrovia Central Prison. The 15-year-old sodomized survivor mother described government as being wicked and heartless. She further accused the government through the Ministry of Justice of failing to give attention to her son's sodomy case and having to choose to set free the former NSA agent.
I'm the mother of happy to the 15 years old child that was selling marked by the innocent man and his 2 other friends. Didn't grow on men are all enough to be my grandfather. What happened to them? We can't hear about the case. Some people promised me to go for hearing. My Liberian people, we can't go for hearing. They have been postponing. Only because the girl are playing B to pull the men also to go all over the country. What going on? Nothing lee in the dark. Can you imagine? I am calling on the justice ministry. I am calling on temple of justice. I am calling on all the judges and the 4 benches to intervene. My son, in all he asked me make sure, and I get his statement with me, and I wrote everything down. He continued to point on Lasana. No ever he said, then I went on. Why are the police doing towards Lasana? Lasana is the man I used, the boy I used to come call my son and say the papa get work for you. What happened to Lasana? Because Lasana is the one that passing around giving information. I was at the hospital when I received a call. Lasana went telling people that they come and free the man. The man will come also. They come and free the man. The man come also. They come and free the man. I said, Allah. The crime that they may committed. No, it is bearable. All the first degree crime, the charges that the police charging. So nobody can point us like this thing. People. The government wicked. The justice system very bad and corrupt in this country. Can you imagine? This going Sunday by 6 o'clock. The veteran uncle saw Peter Bonjala and a horse in the blue Toyota car. The moment they saw him, he informed them all around the car, telling to get in the car and run the wishes up, but it was too late because nothing in the dark. He put the radio on and he heard the discussions. People were discussing concerning the man being outside and tea. The man want to go all of the country. He break down again. He go west. All of last night he didn't sleep. He was crying. He said his anus was hurting. His chest was burning him and thing. The people have to give him penta injection. But Liberian people, when I call the Solicitor General, Councillor Ekosusi Fire, he didn't pick up. I call Councillor Kavi Momo, he didn't pick up. I call Councillor Gonko, it was not going through. So I left. I was so confused. The car almost knocked me down to JFK because I lose my mind.
Mother of the 15-year-old boy who was reportedly gang sodomized by National Security Agency senior agent Peter Bonjala and 2 others. Over 5 public schools in Broom County are said to be completely out of teachers, prompting a single person at each of the schools to teach all classes and subjects. Among schools short of classroom teachers in the Western County are the William H. Kimber Public School, Manogonkai Public School, Mayankai Public School, Uwandi Public School, and Monoan Public School, all fall under the Clay Educational District. Meanwhile, the principal of the William H. Kimber Public School in Manaklen Clay District, who claim of being the registrar and teacher due to lack of teachers, called on the Ministry of Education to urgently deploy more teachers to the institution. Salif disclosed that since the establishment of the institution in 2012, he has remained the only teacher serving as principal, classroom instructor, and administrator.
My name is Salif, principal of Village Public School. The year to express my concern because when I started school in 2012, I had a good teacher there. The whole school. Kindergarten, K2 to 6th grade. Government school. We need any Manaklan area. In Broom County. In Manaklan, from ABC to 6th. I have written complaint. They said, what you do? From 2012, that's why I started with every year now. And the district or representative is Manuel Bishop Johnson. The minister or DMR now, which is Mr. Fully, and then the CEO, they give permission to start a school there. We go out DMR and bring that or instruction. Okay. He knows me well. And now in the mountain school, there are many schools here. The Broom County, they get with it. the girl of Mana Bukai or Penhasia, Monotan. Many school where Paragon or Power through the gender education or through the gender education officer. As I'm speaking, I thought I made a DMR from CEO and many knows me well. So that's the problem saying now anything I can't have from Mono, the Mana Bukai. We have public school, Mana Bukai public school, government school. My head's over the public school, one teacher. You want the alpha plan, no, you want the public school, one teacher. You getting me? The Morris said, say, mono public school. When I teach there or not, because the principal they got power love, I know how it's working. So that's person here, I mean, sister students, they drop because of no teacher. Sister there. Morris is selling with the public school.
He is Maurice Salif, principal, registrar, and teacher of the Willie H. Kimba Public School in the Mana Clay District in Bombay County. Former Monserrado County District 2 Representative Kennedy Kokolo Bova has announced his return to the Coalition for Democratic Change, describing his earlier departure as a political miscalculation. Bovo, who contested the 2023 general and presidential elections on a CDC ticket, had previously left the party to join the People's Action Party led by Senator Sir Joseph, citing tenor wrangling within the CDC as the reason for his decision. Speaking on the Monday's edition of Real Talk on King's FM, Bova publicly announced his return to the CDC, characterized his exit from the party as a mistake.
This party they call Congress for Democratic Change is a party where, my brother, when you leave, you can never rest until you come back. I can tell you for free, I only slept yesterday. I woke up 8 o'clock this morning because I felt a heavy load on my head when I was now part of this family. But since I left the party headquarters day for yesterday, I can tell you for free, I slept well. Looking at the decision we took, we knew that it was not a good decision. We knew that this party is a party well took off from nowhere and brought us to somewhere. And just leaving the party, just that conscience could not serve us right. So we talked the words that indeed the Congress for Democratic Change is the one that brought the name Big Sam or Godfax. But people knowing Big Sam as nationwide, it was the Congress or the Mountain Coalition for Democratic Change that brought this name out. So we told the words to come back, not to spend quite 4-5 months there, but we were able to come back. And now I can tell the nation that Big Sam is back and he's back forever. We took that decision, as I told you, it was a personal decision that we took, and we were ourselves responsible for that. And we told the world that the decision we took by leaving the party was not a rightful decision. And as a conscious-minded person, I deemed it necessary to come back to my party because I was nowhere when the party took me from nowhere and brought me to somewhere. Can you imagine? Let me first appreciate Mayor Koji. I was nowhere when I decided to contest on the party ticket. And Uncle Koji stood for me in the gap. Someone who have never eaten a dime further at that time where people were distributing millions of dollars to people, and they stood in the gap for us. The people, the city, the former county, Monserrado County chair, they stood for us. And today we were able to run on the party 2023 election, and our name went to the ACAD neck that years upon years will come, people will say, at this so and so time, so and so person ran on, so and so ticket, at so and so time. So we saw that we were ungrateful to the party by leaving the party. So we deemed it necessary to come back. And I said on the national radio to say, I apologize to all citizens and I'm back forever.
He's Kokolo Bova, a former representative candidate of Monserrado District 2 and a Danhas edition, they're announcing his return to the party. A reminder, you listen to King's News Broom, 45-minute news about Liberia, Africa, and our one world. Stories we follow tonight. Citizens in Bannersville grapple in fear after citing unidentified mafia dressed individuals, plead for national security investigation and appropriate actions. Government of Liberia secretly released from Morovia Central Prison Peter Bonjala, senior agent of National Security Agency and alleged lead perpetrator of gang sodomite of a 15-year-old boy, as mother of the victim accuses government of supporting same-sex activities. More than 300 school-going children in Broom County suffered lack of adequate learning materials and instructors, with about 5 public schools in the area completely out of teachers. Away from home, about 100 U.S. soldiers have arrived in Nigeria to train the West African nation's armed forces and help them with intelligence in their battle against growing security threats from Islamist militants and other armed groups. Aviation workers in Kenya have agreed to resume work during the second day of their strikes that has led to cancellations, delays, and diversions, which have particularly hit the main airport in the capital, Nairobi. We'll take another break to be back with more voices. Welcome back and thanks for being there. Former Public Works Minister Ruth Coker Collins has debunked current Public Works Minister Roland Giddings' statement that the CDC government rules management system was fraud due to poor management of the former Minister of Public Works. Recently, Public Works Minister Giddings alleged that the previous government, through the Ministry of Public Works, had what he termed as messed up roads management system that led to international partners halting all support to roads construction under the CDC-led government. During her appearance on OKFM Monday, the former Public Works Minister said the CDC-led government did more in roads construction across the country.
I don't know if definition of mess. That's why I keep saying he's wrongfully placed. Technically, I think this will be the last thing because we the engineers, we will not sit back to happen anymore. We will petition any president to take some money from in the business.
Okay, so with the African Development Bank, we will start from the Mano River Union Development and Transfer Facilitation Program. The first lab taken from Fishtown to Kalipo. We did that work, and before we left, our contract was signed August 10th, 2021, and the contractor is Chico. So our expected time, to have closed the project was in 2022. But sometimes our partners, they have their own way of payment. Sometimes it has some delay. So, but before we left, up to December 2022, for clearing and grubbling of the road, entire road corridor, it was 100%. We have cleared everything. All the vegetation, everything, we have cleared everything. And we have also the covered installations. We installed all the covered. The engineering compound was at 98%, and the bridges that we're building, it was at 80%. And then the subgrade, where it was at 100%. So the base cost was at 69.5%. So I just tried to explain it. I hope you understand it because there was a percentage of which we left it in. I think your fact finders can actually find out. So in the overall, we left that project at 68.84% when we left it. The Fishtown to Kalipo project. So then we go to the same African Development Bank, the Mano River Union Road Development and the program. Phase 2 of it was from Kalipo to Fishtown on the same, because we all targeting schedule. So we walk for the back, that's what I'm talking about. So it was 80 kilometers, Kalokin to Fishtown, sorry. So when we left, the clearing, the grubbling was 100%, the cover installation was 100%, the engineering compound, the engineers compound was 100%, the bridges were at 97%. And then the subgrade was at 100%, the base coat, the barnacle, all of them were at 100%. The installation of the governor metal wheel, the guide rail for the bridges, all of it was at 99%, and the project overall progress was at 92% when we left the Ministry of Public Works. The pavement from Sami College to Lopa 2. Yes, it is 47.1 kilometers. And that project after it was signed, the consultant is actually the contractor is CRSG, and the project commenced November 2nd, 2020. So we at the time
The clearing, the grubbing was completed 100%. The covered installations were completed 100%. Engineering compound were completed 100%.
She also noted that the current Public Works Minister is being misplaced to serve as Minister of Public Works. According to her, Minister Ginnings is an administrator, not an engineer, so she lacks the technical expertise to fully address certain engineering methods.
I don't know his definition of mess. That's why I keep saying he's wrongfully placed. Technically, I think this will be the last thing because we the engineers, we will not sit back to happen anymore. We will petition any president to take somebody from in the business field to be public work minister. That's where it's probably coming from. So if Gideon was an engineer, he wouldn't speak the word he speaks here. We're not lecturing. This is history class. This is technical. That's a technical institution. So when you say something, you must say with facts. So Gideon will sit and start talking about mess. How can you say mess? All the roads you left, the project today they're running with the roads where they're breaking down homes so that's something that we created, we formulated in the project, in the contract. We control everything was something you control. So what's the mess that we left behind? So the probably I think is misplaced, and and that's his challenge he faced. So probably what are going that work that we formulated, that work that we initiated, that work that we formed. And he been at the Ministry of Public Works and he was there. When he left there, we left. One whole bulldozer on the escort. That's when he left there, we left there as a government. But I don't know where it stayed there, but we left it there. We were meeting, we handed it over. There are a lot of things that want to say this. You can be left in a glass house and be trying to So Guinness need to watch his steps because we watching everything doing. We watching every step. Today we're discussing there's a painting project that was ongoing. Today is actually
Former Public Works Minister Ruth Coker Collins, they're speaking. Monserrado County District 16 Representative Vixen Sibo has raised concerns of persistent non-compliance posture by appointed government officials. Representative Sibo noted that appointed government officials are found in the habit of ignoring legislative summons, something he said weakens accountability, transparency, and public trust. The Monserrado District 16 lawmaker raised the concern after the Minister of Mines and Energy, Manteno K. Tangbe, failed to appear before members of the House of Representatives on Tuesday.
Emphasizing to us that we are not the first branch of government. When plenary rights of minister and the minister decides to disregard the call of plenaries, Mr. Speaker, this is not just gross disrespect, it's insult. And we can't continue in this regard. This interesting is because this minister of mines sat in the same chamber. He was a representative. And I do remember, at the time I did my last job for Loan Castle, I was called here. And that minister, at the time he started, was one of those who was pushing us to the wall. Now he sits in the executive and he's called it and decides to say, for the better lack of word, to hell with it. Mr. Speaker, it's about time we raise the bar. So these people, we need to tell the president they are non-government materials. Yes. Because if you disregard the first branch of government at this level, it's not there. So I move with the Speaker that if I can obtain a second.
Monserrado County District 16 Representative Vixen Sibo. Citizens Movement for Change in Neighbor County District 7 Representative Musa Belete has criticized the Unity Party-led government for allegedly failing to address pressing national issues affecting Liberians. Speaking Monday on Truth FM, Representative Belete accused the government of adopting a defensive posture in response to its governance shortcomings rather than implementing meaningful corrective measures. According to him, prior to the 2023 elections, many Liberians placed significant trust in the Unity Party, particularly because of its long-standing promises to combat corruption and improve economic conditions across the country.
You can't move somebody from power and repeat the same thing the person is doing and defend the same way the person was defending. That's an affront to me. When I see United Party justifying every action, it is sad because the Liberian people have expectation. They had there was a reason, and I will act differently for a party that won election on 17,000 votes. My attitude would be magnanimous. My attitude would be even a fight against corruption. I mean, if you look at you can it baffles the mind of ordinary people to say that there's never been one good action against anyone in the sitting government. The message that sends is that everything is perfect and that there's no corruption. Then when you do that, then it means that you're living in a bubble. I'm not saying that there are not good things happening, but the bad things that are happening, the government must also have the courage to prosecute those, to push those from happening. That's when you are seen to be serious. But when your corruption fight looks more like a election year fight, normally it doesn't take you anywhere. But here we are. This is why the CMC is here. We need to change it. Otherwise, Liberia is going to find itself in the cycle of revenge.
Cycle of revenge.
Yeah, where all that happens now with you is one party comes, in this case, United Party, and then all the focus on is CDC, to bring CDC down, to destroy CDC down. Remember, that builds a sense of revenge in the CDC. That built a sense of reprisal in the CDC. So if the CDC come to power, you know that they're going to go after the party tooth and nail. But who suffers? In that cycle of revenge, we lose sight on our goal as a country. We lose sight on the national vision, and then all of a sudden it's like people did it. I sitting the day, but nobody at that time cares for whether people are not in school because they cannot afford school fees.
Citizens Movement for Change political leader in Nima County, District 7, Representative Musa Beliti. Away from home, about 100 U.S. soldiers have arrived in Nigeria to train the West African nation's armed forces and help them with intelligence in their battle against growing security threats from Islamist militants and other armed groups. The troops and equipment had landed at an airfield in the northeastern state of Bushi. Nigeria Defense spokesperson Major Samalia Yuba said he reiterated that the U.S. personnel would not be engaging in combat operations and are calm at the request of the government. This is the latest sign of military cooperation between the two countries following the Christmas Day airstrikes launched by the U.S. on two camps run by Islamist militant group in northwestern Nigeria. And aviation workers in Kenya have agreed to resume work during the second day of their strike that has led to cancellations, delays, and diversions, which have particularly hit the main airport in the capital, Nairobi. Operations are expected to slowly return to normal at Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, one of Africa's busiest transport hubs, and where some passengers have spent more than 20 hours waiting for their flight. The Transport Ministry oversaw urgent talks with unions and other groups. Aviation contributes immensely to the economy of the country, and we are committed to ensure that the sector remains stable, said Transport Minister Davis Chuchai. Well, on that note, that's how we come to a near end of this edition of King's Newsroom. But before we leave, a quick reminder of stories we followed in the headlines. Citizens in Bannersville grapple in fear after citing unidentified mafia-dressed individuals plead for national security investigation and appropriate actions. Government of Liberia secretly released from Morovia Central Prison Peter Bonjala, senior agent of National Security Agency and alleged lead perpetrator of gang sodomy of a 15-year-old boy. As mother of the victim accuses government of supporting same-sex activities. You also heard in the news more than 300 school-going children in Bomi County suffered lack of adequate learning materials and instructors, with about 5 public schools in the area completely out of teachers. Away from home, about 100 U.S. soldiers have arrived in Nigeria to train the West African nations' armed forces and help them with intelligence in their battle against growing security threats from Islamist militants and other armed groups. Aviation workers in Kenya have agreed to resume work during the second day of their strike that has led to cancellations, delays, and diversions which have particularly hit the main airport and the capital, Nairobi. Many thanks to our reporters, correspondents, and all those who helped in making this edition of King's Newsroom a success. Sam Andrews brought you the news bulletin. Frank Diallo Swen sat at control and handled the technical aspect of this edition. On behalf of the team, I'm Shema Dale. I represented. Thanks for listening and watching.